Look at this object. To many, it's a symbol of a bygone age. This horned spinnaker, with its familiar twin threading hooks and the raised escarpment that was first introduced by the Elizabethans, may be a thing of beauty, but is it still relevant today? Likewise, these finely wrought Victorian platens, with their distinctive circular clock balancers. A relic of the past, or a signpost to the future? We all know that the ancient art of yarndling began here in Albania. You can still see where those rustic yarndlers used to wash their chawns in the heat of the Mediterranean sun. But what about closer to home? Here, on the Thames path at Rotherhithe, stand two derelict yarndling capstans, symbols of a once thriving industry. But to some, yarndling is still very much a going concern.
It's just part of life, isn't it, really?
It is really, it's part of life. It has been for, I suppose, well, for me anyway, since my childhood. Not the case with you, is it?
No, you introduced me to it, really, didn't you?
I introduced her to it, yeah.
Certainly got me into it, anyway, yeah.
I got her into it.
The village of Tolpuddle in Dorset has a special place in the story of yarndling. It was here, in 1834, that James Brine protested against the taxation on yarndlers' chawns. Considering this a grave social injustice, Brine joined the Tolpuddle Martyrs. The village museum currently houses a fascinating selection of yarndling jennies. Yarndling has, of course, always received a royal seal of approval, but this was sadly shattered in the 17th century thanks to civil war. In more peaceful times, yarndlers in the north of England have seen their craft wax and wane, with only traces left now of a once thriving craft. Here in the seaside town of Skegness, this huge bifurcated thread winder, once the largest in the country, has been left to rust. Ah, if only barnacles could talk. In nearby Chapel St Leonard's, thanks to a generous grant by the Yarndlers Association, special almshouses cater for the less well-off.
I've been running this home for retired yarndlers for the past 2 years now. It's a very rewarding job. I didn't know anything about yarndling before I started this project. It's great to hear some of their stories from many years ago. Some of the yarndlers will be reintegrated into society, and others will stay here in our care.
Our next port of call takes us halfway round the world.
Tasmania, that well-known centre of yarndling, is perhaps one where the movement has gained a strong sense of unity. Brotherhood, not really, it must be admitted, sisterhood yet, at any rate, although, there is a unisex movement in Tasmanian yarndling, I understand, although I've not had any personal experience of that.
Park Ranger Nate Harrison certainly knows a thing or two about what Yarndlers want down under.
So down here in Tasmania, we use the bark of the carry tree you see behind me here, and we extract the oil, and then we use that to keep the chawns supple. It's makes a good product, very good for it.
As well as a good source of raw material for chawns, those special gloves so important to the true Yarndler, Hobart is also home to a thriving Yarndling community. Nate's wife Suki is kept busy running the local chapter of the Yarndling Association, where fun, tempered with social responsibility, is the watchword.
Hello, I'm the president of the Tasmanian branch of the Yarndling Association, the Hobart chapter, and I'm in the process at the moment of organising a threading competition. All of our members love the threading and look forward to it.
But our children, of course, will grow up.
Well,
right?
hopefully, yeah. I mean, with the two older ones, we're sort of encouraging them to take interest in chawns and stuff like that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the younger, more interested in action men.
I have to admit that the ancestral chawns in my family were sadly discarded by my late uncle, who I think was just in a spirit of rebellion against his father. It's something that I and other members of my family now deeply regret.
The most promising sign of a resurgence in Yarndling comes, perhaps surprisingly, from the Far East. Here in Shanghai, many people take pride in the craft and practice it on a daily basis.
Yarndling has been a way of life in Shanghai for many generations.
Does Yarndling promote community cohesion? It's a question which is receiving increasing attention. We can only go by what we know from the past, and the evidence, unfortunately perhaps for those who seek easy solutions, is very mixed.
One man who thinks this is Dudley Pocock, former head disciplinarian of the Croydon Yarndlers, but now a staunch critic of the art.
I'd like to state that I have never yarndled. It cannot be proven. I have other hobbies to take the place of yarndling.
But let's leave the last word to the DePaul family.
Yeah, yarndling will always be part of my life. Always.